Wow, so there you go guys, welcome back. England beat New Zealand 19 points to 7 and I am shaking. I'm sorry if this review isn't very good. It might be great, it might be awful. I'll probably do a follow-up quite soon after this because I am generally in shock. That was an amazing performance from England. They just didn't let New Zealand get going. That's what it was right from the off. England exploded into this match. They also had some clever variation. They pulled in the tactical kicking game. They ran it well. They moved it well. They defended well. It really was one of the best performances I've ever seen from England. Certainly since 2003. Thoroughly deserved to go through to the final. So let's go through this game. Like I said, this might be a good review, might not be. I don't know. Let's just see what happens. Right from the off, the players looked nervous, both of them. We had the haka, and then England formed kind of like a chevron around them to kind of surround them, and they used the energy of the haka, and the haka was brilliant, and both sides were buzzing. But straight from the off, England do a clever little switch kick, which I quite liked, told the ref they were going to do it, and England get into their attacking set straight away. And it was possibly one of the best tries ever, that Tuilagi try. It just felt unbelievable. They went right, they went left, they punched hard, they went out the back. Ford and Farrell were popping. They seriously moved the ball so well. Tuilagi pick and go over, unstoppable, 7-0. New Zealand in shock. That's how you start a game. Ford rips the ball. England are looking slick. They're kicking very well. And throughout the game, actually, England definitely won the kicking battle, for sure. New Zealand kicked the ball away a lot, and I think England, because they trapped them in their own half a lot as well, put them under a lot of pressure, so when they were running the ball a lot, they were having to do it from a lot deeper than what they'd want. Anyway, there was a quite interesting incident where May has a go up the left and Scott Barrett covers him. Great pace, Scott Barrett. Apologies, New Zealand fans. I said he was slow in the last video. Clearly not, but I did write. I'm not sure May's quite right, and indeed he wasn't. He came off, but anyway, good cover from Barrett. And New Zealand countered a few times in the first half, and they looked sharp, actually. England managed to cover them, which was good. They tested England under the high ball for sure. They thought they might be a bit vulnerable there, but they passed. I'm not sure their kicks were right on, but England really did well under the high ball, and that dispelled that attacking threat. But England were fizzing in attack. They really were. Those huge carries. We finally saw Billy and Maka right at the top of their game. Itoje was unbelievable. So they got their big ball carriers going over the gain line all the time. I thought New Zealand's success actually came with their centres. I thought their centres did make good ground against Ford and Farrell for sure. They just couldn't quite exploit it. But it was an exhausting pace. After 15 minutes, I thought England were blowing a bit. And they were desperate for half-time, don't get me wrong. They almost ran themselves out a bit through the pace of their attack. But hey, they got their try. Itoje makes a massive line-out maul turnover. Saw him swimming through the middle. I was shouting at him to get through the middle. I kind of knew he was going to get it, and he did. The crowd starts singing, "Omaro Itoje," and then the PA guy picks up on it, or girl, or whatever, and they start playing it, and then we had a couple of minutes of "Omaro Itoje," and it was all just setting the tone, which I liked. New Zealand were trying a variety of tactical kicks. They thought they could get at England tactically. They tried a few across field, which didn't work, a few chip kicks, which didn't work, the bombs, which didn't work, and they just weren't getting change out of it. So it's like, this isn't, no, the tactics they'd picked weren't quite working. England's line-out was working really slick, actually. They were shortening their line-out quite cleverly. New Zealand had a lot of line-out jumpers, but England were looking a lot more connected, and when they shortened the line-out, that dispels the advantage of more line-out jumpers anyway, particularly. And they were winning that kicking battle. Actually, at this point, halfway through the first half, I'd actually made a note. New Zealand were being very disciplined in in defence. They weren't giving away penalties. That changed as the pressure grew and grew, but at that point they were doing well. Underhill goes through for a try that was given, but it really looked like a block. I think it was Retallick, Whitelock, I think, did bite in, but then whoever ran in front, Curry maybe, did block the New Zealand prop. So yeah, it wasn't a try. Owens loves to let the game flow, and he certainly let a lot of forward passes go, but he did review it and it wasn't a try, so oh well. But England was still attacking well. Both sides were offloading, deception, it was really good. Like New Zealand's quarter-final, I thought England played a complete game. They really excelled in every area. New Zealand's attack was looking okay, but England are drifting indeed. They're pushing up, but they're also not overcommitting out wide. They know New Zealand like to move the ball wide, and England were pushing out, drifting. Tuolangi especially drifted so well at 13, and they were whacking guys into touch. Quite a few times they were putting New Zealand into touch with the ball, which is a big no-no. So big tick for the English defence there. Adaptive, impressive. England finally get a scrum penalty against New Zealand, or the first penalty I believe it was against New Zealand. Daly manages to get a huge gain down the touchline, and things were breaking their way. Kickoffs, tip-ons from kicks. They were getting a few breaks, not lucky, but just kind of getting a little bit of the bounce of the ball, shall we say. They were making their own luck, but they were getting it as well, you know. On 32 minutes, England did look knackered, and they were slowing the game down a bit, but they had that territory, the possession, and they were forcing New Zealand to play. They needed some points, though. I felt at that point they needed points from that dominance. Farrell was struggling. They could have taken him off, but they kept him on for the whole game. It looked like a big dead leg to me. So that was quite a big call, but they got away with that. Curry comes in with a turnover on about 36 minutes, and Curry and Underhill, whole game, were epic. Quicker to the breakdown than New Zealand, as something I said in my preview I thought they might be. Quicker to the breakdown, sharp over that ball, getting the turnovers, big tackles. Those two were unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. I will do probably another video on England's players and how they played, because it's a bit too much for me at the moment. Apology, New Zealand fans, I am getting a bit carried away, but just apologies. There we go. That's all I can say. 38 minutes. Another turnover penalty. Underhill, yeah. They shoot at goal. They get 10-0 up. Good kick from Ford. Ford was epic. I picked him, I consistently picked him in my starting teams. Ford, even over Farrell. I think he was getting flack from the media saying he wasn't good enough, but yeah, he is. Tuolangi's coming up nicely, I noted, blocking the outside pass all game. Moanga was really struggling to get that ball wide, and they were tackling him well. Really shackled the New Zealand attack, which is excellent. They were cleverly blocking off the outside and also drifting and smashing up in the middle. It was really adaptive. It was very varied. Anyway, 10-0 half-time. It was all England. They needed a rest, but I thought, is that enough from such a dominant half? Can New Zealand respond? Now, in the second half, it just went straight back to all England again. That was huge. They couldn't get the momentum shift. Kane came on because England were dominating that breakdown so well with the kamikaze twins, let's call them. England go for a penalty. Daly's very close to getting it from 50 plus metres. Huge kick, not quite landing it. So still 10-0. England in their 22 managed to get a big penalty from Atoje from a line out. That was good. Atoje was epic. So line out brilliant. I would have kept Laws on actually as well. I thought Laws was doing fantastically. So much quicker up in the line, I think. He just jumps a bit quicker in the line out than Cruz. Anyway. Youngs then scores another pseudo try off them all. I think this has got to be a try. They call it back for something, and yeah, I think Billy loses it. It goes to a guy in front of him, then back to him, so sure. No try, but then you're thinking, okay, they've got to get points from this domination, and they do get a penalty off a Curry turnover, of course. 13-0 now. This is good. This is good. This is getting closer to that 2-score gap you want. 13-0. That's mental. Kicks are poor from New Zealand, really poor. England covering everything, winning the territory battle. That was a big factor. England weren't overplaying now, about 15 minutes. They were saving energy, they were playing some good phases, but then kicking into the corners, just pinning New Zealand back, forcing some attack from deep, and they couldn't ever really break through. Anyway, big turnover pen from Severe, I thought, on 53. New Zealand really needed that. They were stuck in their 22. They ring the changes off the bench. They need to score. And Reece indeed gets released down the right. England drift again. Just get him into touch. Tuolangi again drifting so nicely. Not overcommitting at 13, which was one of my fears. He did so well. England muck up the line out. Big time. What an error from England. Gift New Zealand that try. But good pressure, I guess. Sorry. Apologies again, New Zealand fans. Severe picks it off, scores. Good kick, 13-7, and you're thinking, oh, okay, this is now within, you know, a 7 points, so 6-point lead. But England get more sustained pressure straight away, 5 metre out penalty, get the point, 16-7, again stretches it to over a try, and that was important. You know, that was the only time they were really within a shout there, 13-7, and they pulled away again. England making massive tackles, great defensive sets, and then a really silly thing from Whitelock. It was a nothing thing really, just slapping Farrell in the face. Did Farrell play act a bit? Yeah. But that could have cost New Zealand the game. Just frustrating. That frustration, that's what it is. England whack it downfield, yeah, and then get another penalty from a brilliant maul. England mauled fantastically well. In the side of the maul from New Zealand. I told you it was epic. Forward kicks the goal, 19-7, and it looks like this could be it now. Forward playing the rugby of his life, I was noting there. Then Coles makes a really good break after a good New Zealand attack, but Wilson tracks back like an absolute something that's really quick, whatever. Gets over the ball, turns it over, penalty, and that seems like the game now. New Zealand try and build, but the defence from England's too good. They're making a New Zealand attack from deep. They're controlling the pace. New Zealand look like they know it's slipping away from them. And indeed it is. Ford misses a penalty, I think, but New Zealand just can't break through. 19-7, it's all over. England in the World Cup final. Well deserved. Great job, England. Let me know what you thought of that game. I'll come back with another video, probably about this video, when I'm a bit more coherent. But wow, that was awesome. Until next time, I will see you then.